Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about the same sort of situation, the same person. It's inspired a lot of ideas, I think. And so I've been posting them recently. And so right now, we're going to talk about two things. One, how to distinguish, not how to distinguish between, but how to distinguish the bad voices team and the good voices team. Can't really know who's playing for what. But when you think that you know, oh, then well, you need a team name. So you have your name, and let's associate your name with the good voices, unless you want to really change yourself, in which case probably associate your bad voices with the name you were given at birth and associate your good voices with the name you want to give yourself. For me, my bad voice team, I'm going to call, I don't even want to say it, but the name I was given. Okay, so that's the first thing out of the way. Maybe we'll talk about the advantages of doing that or why that's a good thing to do, a cool thing to do. Then the other thing is to be able to distinguish between something mattering, something being of import, something being worth your attention. Okay, that's all one thing. And something that's a problem, something that's worth your concern, something that's worth your regret. And the brain doesn't easily distinguish between these two. They're basically the same thing. Something that needs your attention, something that deserves your attention is a problem, is something that also deserves your concern. That's how we're wired. And what I mean by that is that basically we have a system, a very good system in place to direct our concern. There's very little chance of us encountering something that is obviously dangerous and not feeling any concern. So that system, great. We have a great voice that goes,
oh hey, problem, uh-oh, anxiety, get over here, uh-oh, get those emotions involved because I don't want you forgetting about this, I don't want you thinking you can spend time on something else. You need to be consumed by this predator, this disease, this untrustworthy outgroup member.
It would be energetically exhausting to have another system in place that was like,
hey, this is something that we should pay attention to, but hey, no need to worry, just something we should keep our minds on.
Okay, so like, what do you want me to do? You want me to just keep some attention on that constantly? But you're telling me it's not a problem. The brain just isn't that nuanced where it can have a department that is going to get the resources to pay attention to something, to label something as a thing without setting off the much better resource department that deals with panic and concern and all of that. No idea why that's making any sense. I know I haven't explained it particularly well. So anyway, so we don't really have a category for things that just deserve attention, but not concern. We can be very binary rather than, as I would say, trinary here, in having this category of problem, bad, deserves concern, and good, no problem, everything's fine, doesn't need attention. And that makes sense, right? It's very, very simple. Good situation, no problem, nothing wrong, nothing to do, chill, hang out. Problem, uh-oh, don't hang out. Get all your attention and resources on this thing, and that's going to involve a lot of negative emotions probably. That's just how the brain is wired. Now, yes, we do have voices, otherwise it would be impossible to be trinary. We do have some voices that very meekly go,
hey, I think that could deserve our attention, so
maybe it's a mistake that you make on a regular basis, right? But what ends up happening is when these underdogs, these poor guys that no one listens to, when they send up their report saying that there's this mistake maybe, or that there's this just a thing that could be better, well then basically the head honchos, the ones with all the resources, well they basically go,
wait, hold on, what's going on here?
Or maybe it's some other voice.
Is this a problem or not?
And then that voice, that binary voice, chucks it to one side or the other. So if it's a mistake you're making in your language, for instance, I'm speaking French and there's a mistake that I keep making, I know how to do two things: not care about it or be concerned and embarrassed about it. When I first got to France, that wasn't the case. I was very trinary about it. I had a notebook. I'm tired now. I've been here for 7 years now. I can communicate. You understood me, right? So stop saying it's a fucking problem. I'm binary now. If you understood me, then I don't need to engage all that blah, blah, blah. Oh no, I'm embarrassed, blah, blah, blah.
Don't even fucking point it out to me. You understood me.
So that's what happens when you get tired, or when you get used to something, or when you just don't have that motivation at the beginning. This department this trinary department is well resourced, and after a while, it's like,
okay, we've learned what we want to learn. Now just, if it's a problem, it's a problem. If it's not a problem.
That's why you're gonna hear old people say a lot more than young people, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. When you're young, you've got that third department that's like,
blah, blah.
And also there's no concern. This third department is able to act without triggering the panic of that problem department. It's able to say,
I just want to learn, yeah, so, okay, so this thing that I'm doing, this thing that I keep saying is incorrect? Oh, sweet, cool.
then even for the best of us, that department just loses its power, and all we want now
is it a problem that needs concern, or is it not a problem that therefore doesn't need attention?
But it's cool to try to remember that other department, try to put some measures in place to give that department a little bit more attention, to be able to ask yourself, hey, is this something that needs attention that I don't need to be concerned about? Is this something I can freely, comfortably, calmly consider without feeling like I've done bad or like I am bad? Is it okay for me to, do I have the resources to, in this particular situation, consider giving my attention to something the other departments are saying we don't have the energy budget for because it isn't a big problem? Wonderful metaphors, really. So we have to remind ourselves that there is something in between the department that's just chilling and the department that's all those other things. It's stamped that, oh no, it's bad, it's a problem, emotion, concern, blah, blah, blah. So how I remind myself is, starting today, well, it's in French right now, so rien n'est grave et tout importe. Maybe you could also say rien ne m'est grave et tout m'importe. And maybe if you say it quick enough, you can say rien m'est grave, yeah, I think you can do this. Rien m'est grave, mais tout m'importe. So nothing is a serious problem. Jesus, am I going cross-eyed? Is it just me? Is it just because when I'm looking between myself and the lens? So nothing is like needs to be a problem. Okay? Everything is fine, right? And since everything is fine, I remind myself that I have the luxury for things to matter. And this came about because I was playing a game with someone. It's a cooperative game. And I gave a bad clue. And so when I realized that after they had given their answer, and I took ownership for it, I said, that was a bad clue. And you know what? I knew it as soon as, because I had sent the message before they gave their answer. I said, actually, I did not do a good job. And then the word that I had, it's Codenames is the game. It's a very great game. Type codenames.game into your browser. It's a great game. And this is a very binary person that I was playing. And I said, okay, accused. I said accusé, adjugé, et assumé. So accusé, accused, adjugé, it's been judged, and assumé, I own it. Might be. Some people, when they read that, they can think, oh gosh, he's really taking that quite serious, getting full apologies, and oh my gosh, you must have thought that was a real problem. So very binary brain can't understand.
How could that much attention be given to a thing that isn't a problem?
And so the binary brain responds to me. It's not a big deal. It's not grave. It's not grave. We're just gonna use the word grave. Grave. It's not grave. It's not grave because it wasn't a black word. Because a black word, if he had clicked on a black word, it would end the game. So he said it's not grave. It wasn't a black card. I said, it wouldn't be grave even if it was a black card. And he said, we were this close to signing up for the world championship, so now we're going to try to restart a streak. And so I said, we're not going to be champions if we think that the only thing that's grave is hitting a black card, because it is something that deserves attention when you click a wrong card, because you have a limited number of wrong cards that you can click in this game before you're no longer allowed to give each other clues. And it's probably making no sense. You should probably read up on the rules. So nothing's a problem. We don't need to be upset at ourselves for anything. And I know that that's not how this person's current mind sort of operates. Either it's a problem, and everything that needs any attention means it was defective and it's a problem and we need to be concerned, or everything's fine and wonderful. That's how you get good at anything, right? Through paying attention to things that you are not concerned about. You have the clarity to learn those things, those skills, playing the guitar, speaking another language, because you're able to be trinary. You're able to pay attention to something without it being a problem. You're able to fix something without considering it defective or even broken, or at least just not be concerned if it is broken. So he tells me that he has to give a speech tonight because he's leaving his job. I thought that was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. He said he didn't know what to say. Yeah, you do. You've got things that you could say, but for you, everything is either great or it's a problem. And a lot of things are a problem for a lot of silly reasons. You can pay attention to what you want to say. Hey, what do I feel? What are my thoughts? And you can maybe think of a couple different ways to express that, whether it's in writing or just when you're on the toilet. And as long as that emotional concern, problem, critical voice is not engaged, then you can say, I don't know whether I like that. I guess it's not a big deal. I could say it that way. Oh, no, or I could say it this way. Whatever. And then, what are like two main things that I want to say? One thing that I feel is I'm gonna miss these people. Yeah, that's fine. Just say I'm gonna miss these people. Probably tell a story, maybe. I don't know. That story might not be good enough. Alright, I'll tell that story. Make it quick. What else? Oh yeah, sometimes I feel like I want to say to them just like how our relationship sort of evolved. I don't really know how to say that. I'll just say our relationships evolved, and then if something comes to me, I'll say that. Because nothing's great, but everything that I feel and that I think is important, and any and all of it is worth sharing. And if I don't share all of it, it's not a big deal. And if I get some of it wrong, it's not a big deal. And if some of it isn't clear, it's not a big deal. If people misunderstand it, it's not a big deal. It's important, maybe. You know, if I think, oh shit, maybe they're gonna think this, then you can consider whether or not you're gonna talk to someone or something. Maybe that deserves your attention. It's not a big deal though. And as an overthinker, I think that I'm understanding now how people could struggle so much to understand that I'm just fucking thinking. I'm not overthinking. Oh gosh, move on. Oh gosh, why are you so... Oh no, don't... You're just gonna... No. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm thinking. These are gears going. You don't see gears and go, oh, no. I mean, you do if you're trying to be super economical with your brain energy, I guess. I'm not. Gears are just fucking going. Attention's just fucking being paid. I'm sorry. Look, I got a lampe frontale. I'm just like looking, paying attention. Oh, did you lose something? Oh, what's wrong? Why do you need light? So I'm just taking a look. I mean, it's a wonderful metaphor. If only that was actually something I did, that I would just have my lampe frontale on. I mean, my headlamp on sometimes at night when I'm just so I can see more clearly and pay more attention to things. Okay, so let's try to be trinary rather than so binary. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're no longer interested in that. If it ain't broke, don't freak out. If you have the time, think of another idea. If it ain't broke, don't freak out. No big deal. Any other ideas? So there we go. So that's my philosophy. I have to go. We're having so much fun, but I do have to go. You're welcome for having taken out all the things. This recording was at 22 minutes and 30. Well, it's gonna be more when at bedtime I stop recording. But so we had a lot of fun, and I edited out the breaks, and that was it. It's not a big deal if you didn't understand. It's not a big deal if I didn't express that well. Maybe I did express it well and you didn't understand. But even if I didn't express it well, even if you were perfectly capable and ready to understand, and I just fucked up the delivery, it's not a big deal. But it's important. So if you know how I fucked up delivery, let me know. Doesn't mean my delivery is broke. It just means that that I didn't deliver that time. But it's coming. It's coming. My dad was a package delivery guy for like 15 years or something, and he left the back door open once or twice. Those packages got there in some state. Hey, ain't a big deal as long as it ain't broke. Okay. So two things that are worth mentioning now that I've edited the video. One thing, I should have mentioned cognitive dissonance. I should have thought of it because I mentioned cognitive dissonance often on the channel. It's another example of cognitive dissonance, but it's based on a sort of on a false premise, as sometimes cognitive dissonance is. So on the one hand, someone has brought attention to this thing. This thing is apparently in need of attention. If it is in need of attention, then it is a problem. And that's our false premise there. And then finally we have our resolution. Oh no, I always forget how to do cognitive dissonance. Someone brought attention to it, which means it is a problem. But no, it is not a problem. Right, so our false premise is triggering this idea that it's a problem because attention has been brought to it, or because we wonder whether we might need to pay attention to it. This idea of needing to pay attention automatically triggers it's a problem. Okay, so it's a problem. No, it's not a problem. Fuck, I think I messed that up. But anyway, that's the resolution of the cognitive. I guess I'm glad I didn't mention it. I'm glad this is just for the end people. And then the other thing is, what's really cool is what you see me do at the end. You see me say, if I didn't explain it well, it's not a problem. And it's not a big deal if you didn't understand. It's not a big deal if I didn't express that well. But the very notion that I didn't explain it well triggered a voice.
That's a problem.
Sorry, I'm shouting. Which then triggered a quick resolution of the problem, which is why I immediately said, or maybe I did explain it well and you didn't understand. Maybe I did express it well and you didn't understand. So I immediately needed to address this problem, this self-accusation of having not explained it well. So it's a constant battle with myself and my own instincts, my own mechanisms. Because then I said, even if you are perfectly capable, and I made up this ridiculous, even if you were perfectly capable and ready to understand, and I just fucked up the delivery scenario, that doesn't affect me because it's so absurd. So let me say something more fair. Even if I could have done a much better job, no, can I, less conditional? Even if I could have done, no. Even if I didn't do a good job of explaining the things that I could have explained well in this video, had I taken the time, no, not had I taken the time, just had I been able, then, well, it's not a big deal. But it's important. It's important to make an effort, though. It's not a big deal, but it's important.